Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Thank you all for coming today, and thank you for coming to highlight once again the importance of San Francisco putting local residents back to work and reviving our local economy. As some of you may recall, last September we announced that the city would have its own modified version of the federal JobsNOW program if Congress failed to extend the jobs benefits. Because Congress failed to act, the city partnered with local businesses to keep San Franciscans working, and we called it JobsNOW2. And as a result, we've partnered with over 100 businesses and employed over 500 local residents, with 70 of them working in the private sector. Today, we're here to announce that we still have a lot of financial opportunities for private businesses to participate in the JobsNOW2 program, and will help continue to put San Franciscans back to work. We'd like to increase and focus this JobsNOW program too on local small businesses. Local businesses are missing a great opportunity to use this local JobsNOW resource to their advantage. This increase in subsidy that we're announcing today can help small and medium-sized businesses expand and reduce their overhead costs. JobsNOW2 will reimburse employers for the first $5,000 in wages paid to an employee hired through the eligible job seeker pool, which for businesses will generally cover about 2 to 3 months of wages, a pretty good deal for participating businesses. It greatly reduces the risk and cost of hiring new employees, which would be a big plus for any business, and getting more for San Francisco residents working, getting them working, and a plus for our entire city. This program, the JobsNOW2 program, is funded at current levels through June 30th of this year. And there will be approximately 250 to 300 jobs that could be subsidized by this time. So we're here to announce today that we still got money, we still got enthusiasm and opportunity focused on local small businesses to take advantage of this. We've done well with the nonprofit sector, with the public sector as well, but today we're re-announcing the availability of these funds, the increase that we have in order to entice our small local businesses to take advantage of this program. With that, I want to introduce Trent Rhorer, our head of the Human Services Agency, and he'll MC the rest of the speakers. And we could then explain the details of the program further.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll keep that. Good morning, everyone. I'm Trent Rhorer. I'm the director of the Human Services Agency. As Mayor said, we've had tremendous success, as you know, with JobsNOW. We employed, as a city, over 4,100 low-income, unemployed job seekers, both from public assistance as well as folks who are receiving unemployment. This was underwritten by more than $60 million in federal funds that unfortunately expired at the end of September of last year. If you recall, we re-upped this program using about $9 million of local funds, state funds, and federal funds to again target that same pool of unemployed job seekers as well as public assistance recipients. 2/3 of the program has been successful. We've been able to place over 460 people in public sector subsidized positions as well as positions with our nonprofit partners in the city. I think the shortcoming of JobsNOW2 was on the private sector side. We initially had designed the program to offer private sector, principally small businesses, $2,500 to hire an individual. Well, we had about 70 placements, and with the help of Scott Hauge, who's standing here behind me, and my staff, we decided to double the subsidy amount. And that's ostensibly what we're announcing today, is that small businesses or really any business in the private sector in San Francisco can avail themselves of $5,000 in a wage subsidy, provided that they hire an individual that's screened through us and that's referred to them. We have, given the budget that's remaining for the rest of the fiscal year, room for probably 300 or more placements. Given the wage level, we think the $5,000 will carry a small business probably 2 to 3 months in terms of the person that they hire. And similar to JobsNOW1, what we believe is that the private sector will recognize immediately the benefit of the individual that they have hired. Over 80% of the businesses that participated in JobsNOW2 said that the employees increased sales and increased efficiency, and as a result, when the subsidy ended, many of these employees were kept on, and the private sector paid their salaries. We're hoping that the same thing happens here, that 300 or more get placed, that they add value to the company with which they're working, and then they're retained after the $5,000 subsidy goes away. Behind me I have Scott Hauge, who's really been a champion of JobsNOW2 as well as JobsNOW2, providing valuable feedback to my staff around really what the needs of small businesses in San Francisco are and how we can design this program really to benefit them. We also have an employer as well as an employee of JobsNOW1 and 2 to talk a little bit about the program. But before I introduce them, I'd like to introduce one of our leading proponents and partners and advocates on the Board of Supervisors, Board President David Chiu, who will say a few words, and then we'll turn it over to the participants in the program. Supervisor.
Thank you, Trent. And I'm very excited to be part of this announcement, in part because before I was an elected official, I used to run a small business, and we all know that one of the biggest challenges facing us at this time is our unemployment. And I should mention, my mother used to say, as all of our mothers used to say, there's no such thing as a free lunch. I think that JobsNOW2 is as close as we can get to that free lunch between now and June 30th. JobsNOW2 was something sponsored by the federal stimulus fund that we got under President Obama, and it was a remarkably effective program. In San Francisco, as Trent just mentioned, we created over 4,000 jobs with over 800 companies, which brought $55 million of new activity in our local economy. We were all extremely disappointed when Congress decided not to continue that program last September. But I'm very happy that because of the partnership with the Mayor's Office and with Mayor Lee's commitment to jobs, with HSA, and in particular with our private sector leaders, we have been able to move this forward with a combination of continued local and state and some federal funding. I particularly want to single out Scott Hauge, who brought the fact that our numbers for the JobsNOW2 program have been lagging in the private sector, particularly with small businesses. Thank him for bringing this to our attention, and we really ask you, our media partners, to help get the word out. That right now there are still the potential for hundreds of jobs to qualify between now and June 30th. I think the latest estimate is about 300 new jobs that could be created if companies take advantage of what we've got here. So with that, I want to again thank all of the partners here, as well as our friends in the private sector and our small businesses that we hope will be using this program to put our people back to work.
Good morning. I'm Scott Hauge. I'm the founder of Small Business California, but I'm also an employer. I have an insurance agency with 30 employees. Everybody knows that small business is the engine that drives the economy, that nationally they hire 2/3 of the net job increases. So it's really important that this information get out to the small business community. As a little background, as far as me, I did hire a person from JobsNOW in the first portion of it. Celia's been with me since January 2010. I did so because I knew at some point in 6 months to a year I was going to have to hire another employee, and this gave me the opportunity to hire someone earlier than I would have done otherwise. And she's turned out to be just a fabulous employee. She's assistant claims person in our office and just does a terrific job. But as far as this program, I haven't used this program yet. And I think that there's tremendous opportunities. Increasing it from $2,500 to $5,000 is a tremendous benefit for small businesses. And I would like to ask the small business community in San Francisco to closely look at this program and see what the opportunities that are out there for them. And to that extent, I gave to Tony Lugo an application or information on a job that we have available, and hopefully we will find somebody from Tony and take advantage of the subsidies that are being provided. Thank you.
Thanks, Scott. coming from the human services side, where we focus 98% of our time and effort on the clients whom we're serving, we aren't necessarily used to being in the economic development business, but this program really is that, and certainly among small businesses. About 80% of our placements in the first program were small businesses. And let me give you a little story about a gentleman who I had met at one of our events last year. He owns a car wash in the East Bay, and he told me he was really hesitant to expand. He didn't want to take the risk to expand. What does expansion mean in the car wash industry? It just means more staff, right? More people to wash cars. And he said JobsNOW came along, and he doubled his staff. Well, he took that risk because it wasn't going to cost him anything. It was underwritten by federal money. Well, he doubled his revenue. And when the subsidy expired in September of last year, he kept those people. He kept the 12 people that he hired. And they're still working. His business is thriving. There are dozens and dozens of examples like that really, at least in our world, when we're so excited about getting 4,100 people placed in jobs, we sometimes lose sight of the import of money pumping into the economy and helping small businesses not only stay in business but also to grow and to flourish. We have an example here, a company called BookPig, and Charlotte Pigoski is here to talk a little bit about her experience with JobsNOW 1 and 2, and she, I think, brought along with her a couple of folks that she hired through the program. So, Charlotte.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Charlotte Pigoski. I am one of the 4 founders of BookPig. I would like to say a little about BookPig and how the JobsNOW programs have helped us. We are a Netflix-style children's book rental service, and we aim to encourage children to develop a lifelong love of reading. Using BookPig, families can choose books online, have them shipped to their door, they can keep them as long as they like and return them when they're done. We make it convenient and inexpensive for parents to surround their kids with books. The truth is that reading is the key, that finding the right books is the truth is that finding the right books is key to a successful and enjoyable reading experience. The other truth is that kids who enjoy reading get higher test scores, do better at school and in life afterwards. BookPig was founded in October 2009 by 2 local San Francisco families with kids. Working part-time and unpaid, we were able to build the product and service and began shipping books to friends and family in January 2010. We first became aware of the JobsNOW program in March 2010 and saw this as a great opportunity to kickstart the business. Through JobsNOW 1, through the JobsNOW programs over the last year, we've been able to hire a total of 6 employees, 4 of which remain, 2 of which are here, Trent Rhorer and Tashina Williams. We also have Emily Lee and Veronica Masterson, all single mothers in the city who needed jobs. Each of these employees has been vital to the development of BookPig and have shown real dedication to our vision and a commitment through their hard work. The JobsNOW program has been crucial to the growth of our business. We've found it to be a smooth and very easy process, helping us find great employees quickly and easily. Our representative, Roxana, has been incredibly helpful in understanding of our needs. One of our employees, Tamara, started in April 2010 and began by assisting me with shipping books to our customers. Tamara is extremely dedicated and a real asset to BookPig. She's proved herself to be flexible, multi-talented, and essential member of the team. Tamara is now responsible for the day-to-day shipping of books and manages our most recent employee, Tashina Williams, her assistant, and we plan to keep both employees on long-term. The benefits of these programs are not just financial. I've seen how each employee has improved their self-esteem and self-image through having these jobs. I feel proud to be part of the process, and the city is doing a great thing by enabling us struggling companies to be matched with individuals who have a lot of value to add and are able to improve their lives as a result. Hiring these employees through JobsNOW programs has helped the founders, who are still unsalaried, to focus on growing the business. With our employees' support over the past year, we've shipped over 25,000 books to kids and helped over 1,200 kids read more regularly. We thank CalWorks and the JobsNOW program and the City of San Francisco for their support in helping us grow the business. We want to stress how vital the program is to the success of our company at this early stage and in this delicate economy. We're thankful for the opportunity to employ these 4 great individuals and help their families. Thank you. And I'll introduce Tashina Williams, our most recent employee through JobsNOW2.
Good morning. My name is Tashina Williams. I'm a single mother of a 2-year-old boy. For 2 whole years, I was unemployed and very frustrated because I was having a hard time finding a job. Life became very, very hard for me because I couldn't provide for my son and I. After being on CalWorks for some time, I was referred to the JobsNOW program. Through that program, I was able to better my interviewing skills, brush up on my resume, and even got help with interviewing clothes. Through this program, the program was 4 weeks long, and in 3 weeks, I was offered a job as a shipping and receiving assistant at BookPig. After learning more about the company, I realized that this is a great opportunity to introduce books and reading into my son's life. Before working with BookPig, I had a hard time getting my son interested in books at all. Now we enjoy reading together. I really enjoy working with BookPig, and I feel that my skills are a perfect fit for the company. I'm very grateful for the JobsNOW program because it has gave me a better hope for our future. In closing, I would like to thank BookPig for offering me a position to show the value that I can add to their company. Thank you.
And I'll introduce Tamara Rivera as well, who we employed a year ago with the JobsNOW2 program.
Hello, my name's Tamara Rivera. I'm a single mother of a 10-year-old little girl. Previous to discovering JobsNOW, I was unemployed for over a year. Money was extremely tight, and I spent the majority of my time looking for a job, sending out resumes, and going to dead-end interviews, instead of spending the time with my daughter. I needed a job to cover my living expenses. I first heard of BookPig through the JobsNOW program, and I thought my experience volunteering at my daughter's school library was perfect. Fortunately, they agreed as well. Now, a year later, I am still working at BookPig and managing the operations side of the business. It's great to be a part of a team where my role really matters and I get to provide valuable feedback to help shape our service. In addition to this important responsibility, I have been given the opportunity to assist in the production of BookPig's marketing materials and develop graphics for the website. These are skills I hope to build upon in the future. Having this job means a great deal to me. I have grown in confidence and am happy to get up in the morning as my life now has some real purpose and meaning. I am able to pay my way and provide for my family, which has had a positive influence on our lives. I am now able to spend time with my daughter and do the things with her instead of looking for a job and constantly worrying about money. Finally, as a bonus for the both of us, we get to utilize BookPig's service. I never knew how much my daughter loved to read prior to working here. She now reads several books per week, and we have friends over for book review parties. And it's very hard to stop her from wanting to read all the time. I was amazed, but this only reiterates to me how important my job is. In closing, I would like to say how grateful I am to the SF JobsNOW program. The program has affected every part of my life in a positive way. I am also thankful to BookPig for bringing me on board and allowing me to be a part of an exciting new startup business. Thank you.
So to recap, principally today, the word we want to get out to small business as well as other private employers in the city is that the subsidy under JobsNOW is now $5,000. It's been doubled from $2,500 to $5,000, and we have budget room for at least 300 more slots. The way to get a hold of the Human Services Agency and JobsNOW, many-fold ways. One is to call 311, the city's information line, and ask for JobsNOW. The other is 1-877-JOB1-NOW, or go to our website, which is sfhsa.org. So I will close with that and certainly offer myself any questions as well as Mayor Lee and President Chiu.
You mentioned that 500 jobs have been given out to the JobsNOW2 program, and 70 of those were private sector jobs. What are the other jobs?
Yeah, we have 113 have been placed in public sector positions. So with the city's Human Services Agency as well as some other city departments underwritten by this pot of money. And then we have the remainder in various community-based organization placements through our community jobs program as well as English as a second language placements. Again, underwritten with the same $9 million. So we're successful on those two sides. Where we really want to open up, to the private sector more. John?
Private sector employers haven't taken advantage of this program already, and why do you think they're going to do so now?
Yeah, Scott might want to address this as well, but in conversations with Scott and with other employers, the $2,500 maybe wasn't enough of an incentive, and then we think that doubling it to $5,000 could get more, especially small businesses that have thin margins to take advantage. We do now, starting a new program, you're always uncertain about the demand on the client side, and with budget constraints, you're always sort of careful to match the client flow with the total money we have. But we're very confident now, given the remainder of the budget that we have for the program, that we can place over 300 folks with the subsidy. And I don't know if Scott wants to add as well.
I think Trent is totally right about increasing from 2,500 to 5,000, but the other aspect and why we're doing this today is just to get it out to the small business community. I sent out an email to about 500 small businesses and got maybe 70 to 80 responses, and most of them did not know it existed. So I think just marketing the program is going to be a big benefit.
Why not have fewer clients and more money? Because if 5,000 only covers, you said, maybe 3 months worth of something, and then maybe the business doesn't decide to keep the person on, 10,000 would go.
Yeah, Carolyn, I think it's a good question, and that's sort of what we're kind of testing right now, right? So going from 2,500 to 5,000, and we'll see over the next few months, what kind of uptake we get, both on the private side as well as clients. If the program's successful, this is JobsNOW2 is a bit of a pilot program. We were so successful with JobsNOW1, we wanted to figure out what we could do within a much tighter budget constraint of about $9 million and how we could design it. The idea, of course, would be to maximize the number of placements. As you increase the subsidy, you're going to impact fewer clients. We're just trying to find that balance. If we find we're successful, as I said, negotiating with the Mayor's Budget Office now for our budget next year, and as well as the Board of Supervisors. If this program proves successful at moving hundreds of folks into work, then we hope to continue it and maybe see another restructure and another press event talking about the restructure of the subsidy.
Could you talk, fill in just kind of some of the background, some of the gaps in the background? So when last I visited this, the JobsNOW program is coming to an end, and there are a bunch of city people employed by the city, as some are now in JobsNOW. Are those people still employed, or what happened to them?
Yeah, so everyone who was on a subsidy when the program ended on September 30th had lost that subsidy. And so on the private sector side, the private businesses had to decide whether to keep the employees or not. We think we're running at about 65%, Tony, about a 65% retention rate on the private side. On the public and the nonprofit side, because of the limited budget authority that the nonprofit agencies as well as the city has, that subsidy ended, and we attempted to transition those employees into other jobs, either into the private sector or back through our job centers to look and to find employment on their own. So these JobsNOW2 placements are different individuals.
And then another question, it seems like a lot of the JobsNOW2 people are in city or city-funded jobs. And since this only lasts for a couple months, as opposed to a little of what Carolyn said, what's going to happen to those people? Because the city has this big budget crunch. Is the city going to have the money to keep the people on who basically have been given, at this point, a 2 or 3 month job?
The idea on the public sector side, you have to sort of put this into context as what one of the missions of the Human Services Agency is, which is to move families into self-sufficiency. And one of the ways to do that is through work and building individuals' job skills, their resume, their ability to compete in the private sector. The public sector placements are really serving as that bridge. It's a way to get individuals who may not otherwise have found a job due to their limited skills or work history. Get them the skills, whether it's administrative assistant work or maintenance or a whole variety of jobs. Get them that resume, get them that positive reference, come back to us, and with our job placement coordinators try to get a job in the private sector. So it's really serving, it's not meant to be a permanent job for them, it's meant to really be an opportunity to make some money, to put some money in the hands of families who desperately need it, as well as provide them job skills. And we've...
That's a slightly different mission than the one in the private sector, right? Because you're hoping in the private sector
That's exactly right, Barbara. Yeah, and what tends to happen is that the folks who are coming through offices who have a better resume or maybe more job skills tend to be the ones that move towards the private sector. It's important to remember that in all these programs, the employer is actually doing the interviewing. It's not, we're not giving Barbara Taylor here's your job, you take it. BookPig interviews their candidates. They select the ones with the skills and experience that match the job that they're being hired for. And so it is it's a competitive process within the context of folks who are eligible for the program. And so the private sector placement is the end. That's the best outcome. Private sector unsubsidized. Folks who are in the nonprofit placements and the public sector placements, we hope will eventually get to those private sector unsubsidized jobs.
And then just a question about the rules. Are they the same? Because one of the concerns about Jobs One is you had to have a child, you had to have a dependent, or you weren't eligible to participate. Is that still the case now that the city is funding it?
We actually have an expanded program for single adults who have children over 18 or who don't have children. Because it is, portion of the money is general funds, we're able to target our folks who are on public assistance who don't have kids through our PAYS program. Correct. What we're focusing on here with JobsNOW2 are families or single adults who are on public assistance. JobsNOW1 was a broader range of individuals who are eligible. Now we're focusing on individuals who are on the city's public assistance rolls. We have about 5,000 families on public assistance in San Francisco, and another about 4,000 single adults who are in the employment program and on public assistance.
So this isn't like the other one that if you were a person and you went and interviewed for a job, and you were just somebody who was out of work, you could say to the employer before, if you sign up for the Jobs Now program, you can get my salary paid, you don't only have to pay my benefits, if I remember correctly how it works. So this one is working a little differently. There's a pool of kind of people that you have to hire.
That's right. There's a pool of individuals who our employment specialists and case managers have been working with, some for months, some for years, and are engaged in that job placement process. There's certainly, given the volume, given the number of people, there's certainly plenty or a big enough job pool where employers can select from, can interview, and can select appropriate candidates. And we do, as one of the persons behind me mentioned, we do internally a lot of that work, preparing candidates for the jobs, providing them with interview clothes if they need it, providing them with transportation, with childcare support, to enable them to get back into the workforce. And that's all funds that are outside of the Jobs Now program or just in our regular welfare program. Sure, Barbara.
Anybody else feel free. Where is the money coming from to do this?
Sure.
The city has this giant deficit, so
well,
how's the city funding it?
Yeah. Well, luckily, about 3/4 of the Human Services Agency's budget is from state and federal sources, and about $6.8 million of the $9 million program is from federal and state programs. What we've been able to do is re-engineer a little bit our welfare to work delivery system to move away from some sorts of contracts and job work and move it more towards what we found to be a very successful model, which is the subsidized job program. So that's about $6.8 million. The other $2.2 million are general funds within HSA's budget. With a budget of $700 million, when something is a priority because it's effective, we're able to re-examine kind of what we're funding and move money around to more successful programs. So we did not seek any additional funding for this program. We did it in our current context of our current budget.
Off subject, there's a group of homeless advocates today, later this evening, taking over somebody's house, squatting at an abandoned house, and they're saying it's because there's not enough housing for the homeless. Just kind of an open-ended response to that.
Well, Carolyn, you've been covering the homeless issue for a long time. You know that the success that we've had over the last 6-7 years, placing over 5,000 people in subsidized housing and supportive housing. Would I like there to be a supportive housing unit for everyone who needs it in San Francisco? Of course. Do we have over 300 units coming online over the next year? We do. We place about 35 homeless people into permanent supportive housing every month. So our existing portfolio, we have turnover. The answer to that problem is not taking over someone's house and squatting. The answer is to engage in our programs and services and get in queue to get a unit that will eventually come available if someone is with us and staying with services.
Thank you very much for the individual questions.
Can I ask the mayor?
Absolutely, yep.
Thank you.